Welcome to Kaleidoscope, a special variety show presented by the writing department, the writing program of the Humanities and Sciences department of the School of Visual Arts.
Who are we? I'm Davida Singer.
I'm Isabel de Koning.
Good evening.
Co-curators of this show.
Tonight our show is full of diversity by talented students and faculty from School of Visual Arts. As the show is jam-packed, without further ado, sit back, take a deep breath, and prepare to have your socks knocked off. Enjoy.
Finally, before we get started, please turn off all devices in your possession which beep, ring, buzz, play musical tunes, or squeal.
Hi there! I'll be visiting Earth soon, and I was wondering if you could clear something up for me. How does stuff work here?
Stuff?
Yeah, stuff. Things and items, objects, if you will. I heard that people can own them here.
Oh, I'm afraid you've been misled. That's just a misconception.
Really? Well, what's everybody doing then? It sure looks like stuff, some kind of stuff to me.
Well, it can be easy to get it confused, and people often forget. But you can't really own stuff here. You just borrow it.
Borrow? You mean I can't keep it?
Nope. You borrow it until you're done with it. Or until you're dead, whichever comes first.
Well, and what happens then?
Someone else will borrow it, and then someone after them. That will keep happening until no one wants to borrow it anymore, at which point they call it trash.
Okay, so they don't own stuff then. Why do they think they can?
Well, it can be easy to forget, and a lot of people do. Some of them forget so completely that they'll just keep borrowing, thinking they own it, like it's somehow a part of their soul. They don't know that we're all supposed to share this stuff. They borrow until there's not much left for everyone else.
Huh. Don't they know they can't take it past the grave?
They've tried, of course. They've always tried. In fact, they used to seal their borrowed stuff in with them, with their corpses, inside of giant triangles in the desert. But the stuff's still there, so I don't think it worked.
Huh. Uh-huh. I guess not.
It's all temporary. Things are moving and changing from one thing to the next, and it's a beautiful mess, and we're all a part of it here. They'd be wise to remember that. And so would you.
Identity. A gringuita who no one believes when I say yo soy mexicana, even though my hips always give in to the beat of a drum. I dot my I's, cross my T's, and I roll my R's. You don't think of me as one of them, yet I am not one of you. I stand in a perpetual no man's land between who I am and who you think I should be. My identity ripped apart at the seams, but I know where I come from. El sueño americano, the American dream. A collection of rosaries taken from people at the US-Mexico border. Some old, obviously passed down, and some new. Some meant for weddings, and others for funerals. Now, they are instead a symbol of the inhumane way we treat Mexican immigrants. We don't just take rosaries, but toothpaste, Bibles, wallets, keys, and toys. We lock them in cages and take away any trace of normality. We call them criminals, drug dealers, rapists, and we treat them like animals. Keep your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, back where they came from. I snuff out my lamp beside the golden door.
As a child, I was inspired by the music that filled my house and by my mother's love of dance. When I was very young, you see, I wanted a drum set that was bigger than me. It made my mother sad to say the drums cost more money than she could pay. But Mommy did all she could do, and she brought me a conga drum, all shiny and new. People said, girls don't play drums. But I didn't care. I still wanted some. And ever since then, I love to play, because drums tell stories in a special way. My mom was my hero, my rock. She was, in her spirit and soul, an artist. Oh, yes. Yes, and Mommy could dance. Could have gone pro, but family came first. She shared her gift and love of dance, community style, taught and gave back. Raised money to send poor kids, just like us, to summer camp. Just like Mommy, who was called to dance, her spirit. The drum called my spirit and I followed. And Mom supported me, taught me to tell the truth and study hard to get ahead. As a child in the segregated, sometimes Jim Crow North, living there, I faced discrimination in our democratic nation, known ideally for its freedom, justice, and equality. But for me, education was the key. Growing up African American in Boston, the world I was born into put limits on my potential based on race and gender. In my historical then, my dreams were constrained by the barriers of racism and racial segregation that denied me access to equality, opportunity, and with that, my identity, my humanity. Through junior high school and high school, I traveled out of my community to schools where I was in the minority, feeling like I needed to belong, blend in, and deny my identity. I pursued higher education, trying to make a difference, using the drum, music, storytelling to bring arts and education to those children most in need. The rising Black consciousness of my time, civil rights and women's movement, fueled my desire to work for change. As a college student in the 70s, I was inspired by artists of the time like Nina Simone, singer, songwriter, activist, warrior for justice, who said it's an artist's duty to reflect the times. She did just that. Nina used her music as a political weapon. She marched with Dr. King in Selma, and wrote a song for him. In '64, Nina sang boldly against the racial violence and for social equality with her song, Mississippi Goddamn. Can you say that? Mississippi Goddamn. Say it with me. Mississippi Goddamn. Yes. And there's one verse in which she says, you don't have to sit next to me, just give me my equality. In the now of American society, too many black youth die. Violent deaths too soon, or spend their lives in jail. Don't we know Black lives matter? All lives matter. Human beings matter. As my older brother Peter wrote, we must be more to each other. We must be. Can you say, we must be more to each other? We must be, okay? We must be more to each other. We must be. We must be more to each other. We must be. Come on. We must be more to each other. We must be. You can just do the backbeats. Be more to each other. We must be. Ready? Two more times. We must more to each other. We must be. We must be. We must be more to each other. We must be. One more time. So it goes like this. We must be more to each other. We must be. One time all together. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. We must be more to each other. We must be. Good. Yeah, yeah. Woo! Thank you. Thank you.
Dear sister, at 12 years old, when I overheard Mom talking about you by the pool, I ran inside and hid behind the couch, crouching while chlorinated water gathered at my feet. I cried at the thought of your birth. I thought about going to college. I thought about the milestones in your life I would miss. I thought about leaving and saying goodbye to you, the fractured picture of me you'd have after seeing me only on holidays. Now the day has come that we don't see each other so often. When I came back home for the first time and told you I was a boy, not knowing how you'd respond, I watched your eyes well up with tears as you looked at me and said, "So I don't have a sister anymore?" My heart shattered when you said that, but I smiled at you because it is all I can do. No, but I'm still here. Hey now, sister, I'm no different just because I'm your brother. I still think you're a big booger head, and I'll still do makeup and nails with you no matter if you call me a he or not. Watching you smile through the tears reassembled our briefly fractured world. As long as I can make you laugh, I know everything will be okay. You understand so much at such a young age. Love, your big twink brother. Dear brother, I knew I could trust you forever when you cornered me that day on the boardwalk. Dad had walked ahead, and it was just us and the mangroves and the sound of the water hitting the shore. You were only in 7th grade then, but you had a mission that you were determined to complete. You whipped around and pointed at me. So are you gay or what? You might as well have picked me up by the ankles and shaken me for my lunch money. Despite being 2 years older, I was taken aback. You had leveled the playing field in 6 words. My God, yes. You promised not to tell. So years later, when you heard my friends at school call me JJ for a long time, you understood. I never really had to come out to you. You've always been my partner in crime, and I'm your confidant. Love, your little, as in 5'6", big brother. Dear Mom, So much has changed since the last time I wrote you a letter you'll never read. I wanted so badly for you to know me, and now here we are. Dad told me about the night he told you that I wanted to be your son. He didn't tell me that you cried, which I take to mean that you didn't, but this is probably wishful thinking. For a long time, this kept me silent, the thought that my existence would pain you. I'd rather suffer years of trying to squeeze myself into dresses and heels than see you cry. I have the prom pictures to prove it. In junior year, I fought against you, and the tux you let me wear stood triumphantly in every photo. But in senior year, I didn't have the strength. Although I didn't mourn the few hours I spent foggy-eyed in empty restrooms if it meant that we could understand each other just a little bit more. After that, I cut my hair short again, and rather than fighting to look in the men's section, you pointed me towards it before I could say a word. You seemed to finally understand that there was no changing me. Maybe the way I walked in that dress made that clear to you. But you weren't the only one that had to process things. I remember the day that I realized that the solidarity we had as women of the house was important to you, just like being a sister was important to Alexandra. I hope that you know that you will always be my best friend. Love, your son. Dear Anya, my girl self, I was labeled female on my birth certificate, and I grew up as you, a young girl with messy hair and scuffed knees. You've been with me for so long. I still grapple with you. We tango together as you teach me to pick up the pieces of our life that you once took care of. In high school, when I went home every day and banged my head against walls, wondering why God made me this way, you lifted us out of bed every morning. You kept drawing even when every pen felt impossibly heavy, and cried out when I tried to suffocate myself in silence, refusing to let me reduce myself to nothing. You were so strong. You held on so that I could feel the tile beneath my feet and the warm sun on my skin and my little sister's arms around me when she runs to me for a hug. Thank you for that. In 3 days, I turned 19 years old. It feels impossible. Recently, I looked in the mirror and cried for the first time in a long time. Not so long ago, I had grown my hair out, trying so hard for so long to be content with myself. I thought if it didn't work out, at least when I showed up battered and bruised, they'd understand that I fought tooth and nail to be a girl. I thought I'd be old or dead by the time I came out to my parents. Now I'm out to both of them, and they love me all the same. I'll start testosterone soon. I'll have a shitty mustache and a receding hairline and a voice I won't struggle to recognize in recordings. Soon, in all of its impossibility, I will see myself in the mirror for the first time. People think that transitioning is some violent rejection of the original self, like you're a vessel I had to kill to escape. But you are my guardian angel. My whole life looked like a brick wall, but you held me tightly as I clawed my way over it. And now the horizon stretches on as far as I can see. I had to make peace with you until your job was done. And you'll never really leave me, but retirement will feel so nice. Thank you endlessly, Jasper.
Sandy. Tuesday afternoon in Washington Square Park. People, trees, squirrels, fountain, and bands. I saw something shining. What is that? When I walked to it, I found it was a small dog. Big black eyes like lychee. Its small exquisite nose was moist. Pink tongue out of the mouth. The little thing lay on the ground with 4 short legs stretched out, relaxed. It is so cute! I screamed, and everyone in the park could hear it. A man sitting on the bench was smiling at me. Her name is Sandy. She does not need a leash. She will always follow me. She likes people, and she always attracts them. Then the man put a plastic bag on the ground. As I was wondering why he did this, Sandy jumped into the bag and stood there straight, like the bag as her armor, and make her feel more invigorated. I smiled. Wow, how can she do this? You can carry her for shopping. Then, compared to the green peppers and the purple onions, she will be the big, round, yellowish, organic sweet potato. The man giggled. Yeah, of course. Then he told me he was 60 and Sandy was 10. He used to have a bar, and now he was retired. He looked at her, so warm. She looked at him, so sweet. I felt so glad to meet them. A New Jersey family. The weather grew cold. The night grew dark. I was walking down the street near Tompkins Square Park. Then, there were 2 women with a big fluffy dog. The dog almost ran into me as I was thinking nothing. You can pet him. He's very friendly. A woman's voice came out. I petted the dog. What's his name? Harley. The woman with striped clothes answered. I patted Harley on the head, the neck, and the back. Then he sat down. He likes you. I smiled happily and kept petting him. His hair was soft and glossy. Suddenly, I wished I could grow smaller and jump into Harley's hair and swim and sleep. He likes people. We are a family from New Jersey. We live near the beach. We often go to the beach in the summer, said the other woman. Harley likes lying on the sand. Harley likes to sit in front of Dunkin' Donuts. Can I take a picture of you guys? I asked. Sure, said the 2 women. Mimi, come on. Wait, is there another dog? Yes. The woman with dark clothes opened her bag. I saw triangular ears appear on the top, trembling with the wind. She wants to stay in the bag. She's very lazy. She's like a cat. Oh, that's why her name is Mimi. I thought this because Mimi is a cat name in Chinese culture. As a dog is giving a cat name, I thought the dog must be interesting. She looks very light, so you can carry her in the bag. No, she's not light. She's overweight. She's almost 4 pounds. The woman tried to pull Mimi out from her castle. Although Mimi looked like she had no interest in the outside at all. Then I noticed the wrinkles on her neck. Ha-ha, lazy fat Mimi. Mimi leaned her head over and watched the camera at last. Everybody say cheese. The woman with striped clothes said, "Oh, Harley didn't look at the camera." Everybody laughed. Okay.
I am brown in Terminal 1 at JFK in December, shaking to my bones with a fever I didn't have time to measure. 2 seats away from me are 2 toddlers screaming in German. Their parents aren't afraid of their accents slipping through their coffee orders. Maybe they're comfortable in their skin. Colored ribbons wrap up the airport in festive and joyous in, "You've had your year of labor. Now go on, go home." I want to say hello to the kids, but I'm afraid I'll make them sick. I spent the year learning how to not be afraid, but sometimes our bodies forget the basics. You see, sometimes I remember breathing as well as I remember 8th grade math. Not well. I'm afraid because I brought a cold in Terminal 1 that I'm desperately trying to cure before someone notices. I keep sniffling into my Starbucks tissue. Keep holding on to my poetry book, hoping that it makes me look worldly. Keep looking at my phone with its feminist back cover. I'm afraid because I'm going back to a country fragmenting itself in the headlines. A country painting itself red, painting itself whatever color lets you stay alive, throwing out the rest of the palette. I'm afraid because I'm leaving a country that's doing the same. CNN plays on the TV above my head, and I know something's wrong at the White House again. I am never in the right time zone, never lighting the right fire, never leading a revolution, always on standby, neither here nor there, no use for my voice if I'm still trying to find it. But I think back to how many times I've been brown at the security check, questioning the next random secondary search. For some reason, everyone in this line is brown too, so I blend well. They walk me through the machines, and a nice man swipes my bags for explosives. I am so nervous, I'm afraid I'll say something funny. My hands in the air, feet bare. I'm hoping the machines don't find me questioning if it's all worth it. Hoping they won't sniff out the fear, loaded onto a tray with all the metal appliances. Honestly, I do not know how anyone could be afraid of me. What will I be found carrying in my American Tourister bag? I guess they'll find my hope, my yearning, my holding on, my leaving, my coming back, the love and pain of the back and forth. They'll find me tying loose ends on a carpet that's undoing itself into yarn. I feel like I'm wasting everyone's time, trying to be someone here, trying to be someone anywhere when there's so many others in line. You see, America is just a faceless hand I cling to in the dark. But India, she is the dissatisfying lover, the one I keep begging to change, the one I pull away from in the hopes of getting even closer, the one I'm really rooting for. I wonder if she's rooting for me too. But for now, I'll be brown in this airplane for a good many hours, in transit, heading home. Soon, I'll be brown in my childhood bedroom. I'll have courage to speak of, stories to tell, lovers to get over. Sitting in this economy seat, I'll prepare to be afraid. I'll prepare to be brave, again and again.
5,875 miles have passed between us, a little over a decade, plus the tumor on your neck. We won't count all the extra distance, only the kind that has taken me to starting over and over again after Indiana. Stage 4 lymphoma. You waited to see the doctor until the right insurance policy kicked in. You refused blood transfusions. I stood by the phone. Arrived in a sphere of protection, gold-lit, shaped by everyone I love. They know how hard this is. How all these years have been. Just so I could show up, maybe heal you, soothe. I thought maybe I'd never get to, but I do. And funny thing, neither of us has much to say now. You're my dad, and you can barely look at me. Somehow that doesn't matter or injure when I push beyond comfort. Whether you're ready or not, children rarely know the difference when parents do their best. It's your turn not to know. I'm just here to smile, be kind, here, not to be right or prove anything. When I eventually crash and burn, I'll let myself have that. Right now, it's about fixing this gap with all those spaces I've seen beyond our world. Even if the recipes taste the same, staleness of racist jokes linger, the vacancy of your handshake, I breathe. Feel rotten as somehow, very unexpectedly, I have the upper hand. Laugh inside, since I spent the last year finding corners to cry in, without pause or end, like a clear vase invisible against the subway tile in New York. Paste irregular pieces of my heart back together, prepare for the worst, listen to you say, "Don't come," when all it took was booking a ticket. I tore myself apart just to be ready for these fleeting 24 hours. And I can't believe I never noticed how black your eyes are, how you stand so still. Where did you go? I can barely feel you here, wolf ghost. Unconcerned, I make peace with the other side that has you by the arms. That Sinovich stare I get from you. Spiritual acid days, you were a hippie, loved summer, smoked grass, sitting on the edge of the beach at the dunes. How can I describe what it means to prepare? See white curtains blowing over a bright window, sound and tension of my hands tearing cloth apart, smoke of burning leaves filling my nostrils and burning my eyes. I've forgiven you. What it means to know mortality in the most profound way a child of anyone ever can. When I found out, I'd just finished writing about leaning on your back while you drove your motorcycle. There was peace between us where we were quiet. Now, 790 miles back, I'm driving your car. You hate this time of year when trees are bare along the frozen lake and snow-covered sand. I say I don't mind. You're next to me. I never thought I'd be driving your car.
My relationship with the Hudson River. It's been, 20 years, 30 years? I don't know. Still out there. Beneath the river at midnight, after being run over and sucked under by a barge while kayaking with Ken on the 4th of July, 1990. The rust-red barge, the wall of steel and foam, the humming steel mass, the turbulent river, the dive into darkness, iridescent waves, the roar of the tug, the hum of the steel mass, the low roof of black steel, the tug of the bolt on my back, the push of the weight of the steel, the exhalation of breath, the diving more deeply, the vision of dismemberment, the phosphorescent green bubbles, the being in one's final moment, the approach of a propeller, the release of a breath, the diving deeply, not breathing, the relentless roaring, the sudden release of weight, the freedom of springing, the sound of splashing, the rolling onto my back, the vast black sky, the warm air, the clouds over moonlight, the stars behind clouds, the hum of the receding tug, the passing of the black mass, the silent forms, downriver, the intake of air, the floating on the back, the contemplation of stars, the watery blackness, the velvety blackness, the call in the darkness, the swimming toward him, the rocking of our boat, the clinging to our boat, the losing of our light, the drifting out to sea, the passing of party boats, the oblivion of party boats, the loud music of party boats, the losing of the grip, the losing of warmth, the sudden brightness, the whiteness of 4 angels, the red hair of 1 angel from New Jersey, the silver of shining ladders, the whiteness of warm towels, the coldness of ambulance air, the shivering in hospital, the thin sheet, the tepid tea, his bandaged head, the warm taxi, the warm kitchen, the warm omelette, the hot coffee, the bright explosions, the colors of fireworks signifying nothing but the 4th of July and the relentless noise of the sea. And then we discovered the Chelsea Piers gym. Here we are. We Lorelei in the hot tub. Some might call it a whirlpool. Pulsing heated jets of bluish water massage the joints. Silent stiff complaints lull the unwary into conversation and the contemplation of Lady Liberty looming down the river in the misty harbor, perpetually holding aloft her flame of bronze, a siren's gift of promises, her torch song, "Come to me." We surrender to the steaming swirl. We let it pull us into the pulsing waves, pulling the heroes too, athletes young and old, into the seductive depths. They surely will drown in the sound of our laughter. Our silvered voices are winging over the wrinkled river as we, like Lady Liberty, beckon. Thanks.
A body, a head, a burden. A head and a body attached at the neck, quite unnaturally, it seemed. Their heartbeat irregular, often causing panicked confusion, the room to spin, all blacked out. Doctors poked and prodded, then inflicted, invaded, violated, pleasure placed on their small body. Repressed over time, the incessant, irregular thumping coming from their chest was numbed. The body grew, distanced and detached, tall with supple curves of skin, shoulders slouched to hide signs of femininity, dry lips stretched awkwardly across bright, jagged teeth. They put on a smile wide for all to see. The body's flesh, marked with misuse, yuck. They shrouded their skin with ink and silly stories, tattoos, etched reminders of violence, pain, peace, laughter. Enveloped for protection, symbols of strength covered their hide. Despite the body's efforts to stay hidden from the crowd, they were seen as magnetic, enchanting to all, but inside they felt icky, repulsive, worthless, alien, and small, with an aching, compulsive need to nurture, smother others with love and light. They gave their care and kindness, let themselves be picked apart, yanked and pulled around. The head and body lived, distracted, distant, detached, nowhere near grounded, pulling in opposite directions. Oh, how they wished they could chain themselves down. The head was sick of spiraling thoughts, sending them down the drain, drowning in a murky pool, weighed down by guilt and shame. The body was exhausted from never-ending nerves, kept limbs shaking, empty, aching from their insides being taken, replaced by a gnawing need to end their pesky existence. In a fit of frustration, something snapped deep inside. If the head and the body were gone, they'd be rid of things to hide. The head no longer in control, the body grabbed a blade, sliced their neck. Suddenly severed, blood gushed from the wound. Head lost its weight, and just like a balloon, floated away. In a panic, body reached, extending lanky arms into the clouds, just barely catching hold of the string. Head, safely cradled in their body's arms, thought, without my body, I'd have no sense of direction. Floating aimlessly would be, oh, so lonely. Plus, how would I brush my chompers? If I had no hands, if I had no body. Body needed their head to think and create. Head, you must stay. Without you, I'm a fool. I'd trip and stray. I may be handy, but you're my eyes and ears. No body would mean no heart, no love to give. If there were a way for body to have space close to the earth, grounded, head to have freedom it needs, to no longer feel foggy. Finally, body and head reflected in coexistence, figured it out. They sewed chains, magically light pierced through their ear like an accessory. The chains allowed head to float. They could breathe, see the world from up in the sky. Now, head had a smile, which stayed true. No reason to be blue. Body built a home, a fortress of sorts, tucked in the trees far away. Caring for, safe and warm, they stayed, at peace with their disconnection. Head, with their sight and ability to soar, helped body fill their home and empty space with all things lost that they now found, nurturing all that had been taken.
Thanks to Jasper Johnson. Excuse me. Thanks to Jasper Johnson for the loan of a letter excerpt. Oh, there's a body of light, a curve around your body, around your mind. Shi, 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 sha, sha, sha. Shi, 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 sha, sha, sha. A figure of sound, a vibratory figure, an octave, a silhouette of notes, like a puzzle, one chance repeated and repeated just to get it right. Call her an aura, elixir, a blue voice. She comes and goes as she pleases. If you dream her when you wake, sometimes a strand or two of paradox between the sheets, a footprint on the ceiling, sometimes the fragrance of mountain or ocean, tenor of breath, crease of blue dust, Aegean blue, Tunisian, Marseille, embedded in your palm. Oh, the clock hands, the numbers of time these days lift off and go missing. You spin and you spin with so many signs, no calculations. You lie on your back, on the verge, an empty vessel waiting for sound, listening for the pour of words that bend and bend and bend and bend and break and break and break and shatter glass and then resolve like music. Oh, sometimes you can almost see a continent of lines connect, a globe of blue, miraculous, a saving grace to offer up, exploding in your head. January, Janvier, Enero. Oh, the city is adrift in a deluge of noise, but we're living in wilderness, and the weather is like the border, untamed and unruly, and a wall can do nothing to hold anything back. Oh, this time is like the weather, uncertain, unrepentant, and it's moving fast in front of you, so it's already much later than March. You bike another week away in Metropolis, carpal tunnel numbing your thumb and index, a new normal. Oh, you're anxious and swervy, like a wounded lover, like students, raw and reticent, aching to know something is for sure less dire than dandy. Oh, you're biking down the Upper West, pavement dug into, bike lane moist with tar, all orange cones and blasted holes like a leftover war zone. Last week, a restless student writes that politicians lie about everything. It's their job. To protect a nation from panicking is acceptable. Mob mentality might take over, and then, no conclusion. Yesterday, for homework, a transgender student writes, "Dear Donald Trump, recently, you've tried to convince the nation that I don't exist. Reading the news makes me want to die more than looking in the mirror. Hearing your voice makes me want to yell so loud that all my teeth fall out, teeth which I will litter on the White House lawn so they might grow to lovely tombstones that remind of all the lives you've ruined." you pedal down today or the next, like it's the first or the last, humming lyrics. Every day is marked, remarkable, or missing. No one left out. So you keep pedaling, almost one-handed, not easy to stay upright and abreast of things in all this infrastructure mess. Oh, you're a long way from raw and reticent, but you're aching just the same to know something is for sure less dire than dandy. Later, you'll remember broken streets, what's left of winter like dream scraps over potholes, the students, the president, how everyone is missing and no one is left out. Everyone is blameless and blame, as if there were one day, and everything to do, everyone to touch, to heal too quickly and move on. Oh, much, much later, when you're home and all that's certain is uncertainty, like a blue voice, like a bowed head, a slit of open curtain where you sit, as you massage your fingers, bringing light, count to 10 and hold them, thumb and index, and your students, all of them. Oh, you kiss them like they are candles. Candles, already candles. Every one of them. Every one of them. Good night.
Where's Isabel? Isabel, come on.
Can everyone come up, please? We told you it was jam-packed with talent, yes? Let's give it up for all of these beautiful performers and the musicians. We have Ken Filiano on bass, Frank London, who's moved over there, on trumpet, Michael Wimberly on drums. Also, a very, very big thank you to Mary Helen Hendricks and Lori Johanning from the Department of Humanities and Sciences. They hosted this, and if it weren't for them, none of us would be here tonight. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you, thank you. And to Isabel DeConning, who put together all the tech and production, a very, very big thank you. Where are you? And here's Anney Bonney. Anney Bonney, the video person. And to everyone. And to you, thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much.